Hi, I'm Mike Keeler with the New Hampshire Realtors. I'm talking to you today to review some of the changes that have taken place with the forms this year. The first change is in relation to the property disclosure land only form, and there were minor changes to that form, and under section 6 of the sewage disposal system it was added at the bottom: for additional information, the buyer is encouraged to contact the New Hampshire Department of Environmental Services Subsurface Systems Bureau. That was added to both the land disclosure and the property disclosure residential. On the property disclosure residential, there was another change under sewage disposal, and it was the addition of, is the septic design available, yes or no? And that is so that buyers will know whether or not the seller has a copy of the septic design, and if it is available, then it would be available to them to view. Under the property disclosure rider, condominium, co-op, PUD, and other homeowner organization, there was one change made to that, and that was the removal of the buyer's acknowledgement of receipt of this notification, and signifies by initialing here. That was removed because it was redundant, where the buyer is signing at the bottom and the seller is signing at the bottom of the page. There's no need for them to initial something that they're already signing. The last change is to the purchase and sales, and this is a significant change that you should make note of, and it's in relation to section 14, having to do with inspections. The old purchase and sales, one prior to this change, gave termination rights to both the buyer and the seller under the inspection clause. The change to this gives termination rights to the buyer but not the seller. And let me read to you the changes so that you can properly explain it to your buyers. Under section A, the buyer shall have the option at the buyer's sole discretion to terminate this agreement on all deposits returned to the buyer in accordance with RSA 331A13. Or B, if buyer elects to notify the seller in writing of the unsatisfactory conditions, then 1. The seller and buyer can reach agreement in writing on the method of repair or remedy of the unsatisfactory conditions. Or 2, and this is where the change takes place, and it reads now: if seller elects not to repair or remedy the unsatisfactory conditions, the buyer may release the home inspection contingency and accept the property as is. And 3, or if the seller and buyer cannot reach agreement in writing with respect to the method of repair and remedy of unsatisfactory conditions, then this agreement is terminated and all deposits shall be returned to the buyer in accordance with RSA 331A13. The other change had to do with the timing of the notifications. The old purchase and sales said that notification in writing of seller's intent to repair or remedy or not to remedy pursuant to section B above shall be delivered to the buyer or their licensee within 5 days of receipt by the seller of the unsatisfactory conditions. And this is the addition: the buyer shall respond in writing to the seller's notification within 5 days. If the buyer does not respond within 5 days, the seller may elect to terminate this agreement and all deposits returned to the buyer. That was added to address some issues where a buyer had notified the seller of unsatisfactory conditions. The seller responded, but the buyer never did respond. So we added that so there are ways for the seller to address a seller not responding. In conclusion, I want to thank you for your attention to making note of these changes. If you have any questions, feel free to call the New Hampshire Realtors at 225-5549. Thanks.